talking about the stick in here about whether it's sensitivity and specificity?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, 20.
Because I came up with a really good example when we were all leaving. You remember what it was? Big test. So maybe I'll throw a question on there like that. I'll give you the parameters of the test, and you tell me if it's a good test. Is it highly sensitive or highly specific or
Like one question?
That's already stuff.
All right, disease frequency, there's a little epidemiology stuff. So disease case can be either an existing case or the number of new episodes of a particular illness in a region. You don't see that much, I haven't seen that much. This is what you see more, the incidence. So the incidence is the number of new cases arising in a population at risk during a specific time, a month. And the population at risk is going to be what? Usually going to be what?
The elderly, the children.
Right, and also geographically too, so it could be both. It could be a risk population, but also geographically. Because what I also like to add to incidence is also in a specific area too, right? Because if you're looking at it from an epidemiological standpoint, and you're looking at your local area, do you really care how many people are coming down with that disease in
Africa.
Like if it's not
Kathmandu or something?
No. Like if it's not here.
Yeah, it's not here so much. So I would throw that in the number, into the at-risk, population at risk. It's also going to be geographic. But you're right, it's also going to have to do with those factors, in terms of risk factors we talked about. Prevalence is a measure of existing disease in a population at a given point in time. How many people have this disease this year?
Like the flu and stuff like that.
But it can be anything, diabetes, anything, right?
Oh.
Lyme disease, they're looking at this a lot. What's happening to both the incidence and the prevalence of Lyme disease?
It's increasing?
It is because we talked about it last time, last semester, but it was like because of the melting now, something to do like that.
Well, there's two, okay, he threw the door open. What do you think the two reasons that there's an increase in Lyme disease?
Because people are camping outside more and
Further
playing
travel,
outside
like,
more.
in forests and
Right,
stuff.
so the outdoor activities got really popular in the 2000s and stuff like that, right? More people, more contact, you've got more what? More population at risk, basically, more people coming into contact with it. Secondly, the deer tick that carries it, its habitat is starting to spread out too.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's
not
what-
water.
So it's a double whammy with that disease. Okay. And I use Lyme disease because it can turn into a chronic issue. All right, so this is what I pull out of a micro budget, what in yours. This is going to be what? Currently, the incidence and estimated prevalence of AIDS among U.S. adults. So some of you all have already seen this one before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be what? Incidence. So in the 1983 is kind of sort of the starting point of the epidemic. What happens here? Incidence is what?
Increased.
Higher
It's
than the
going up,
prevalence.
going up, going up. Prevalence is also starting to what? Increase. From the prevalence, the reason it's lower is that they just didn't know how many people had it back then. They weren't sure about the whole natural history of the disease and everything else. But incidence rates spiked right about here, and what happened about starting in the 90s, early 90s?
Education.
Education,
Prevention.
yeah, prevention, they knew all the information we'll talk about in a minute that reflects back to this, right? So what happened, the cases started to what? Plummet, and they kept going down and down and down and down until what happened here, and if you have a newer map, you're gonna see this thing starting to go back up. Actually, this is gonna be HIV, not AIDS, because what's the difference?
It's the infection stage. Like
HIV is infection with the virus, right? AIDS is what?
is the
The actual disease.
The manifestation of
Manifestation.
untreated HIV infection. So, actually, if I would, I'd like to change it to HIV in this graph, because HIV infection is starting to go up. Are rates of AIDS starting to go up as well?
no.
No, because all the medications and everything else. So.
Can you, one question. I do remember this from micro, but I'm a little getting confused about incidence and prevalence. I know one of them means it's the new cases, right? Which one?
Incidence is the number of new cases in a given time period, and I like it in a given area too. So this is what, among the US. So incidence rate is gonna be yearly here, boom, how they would have done it,
Okay.
if you have the bars. What's happening here? Why does prevalence keep going up even though incidence starts going down?
People started getting less scared. I remember us talking about it, like they lost their fear because medicine started getting better.
Well, no, 'cause that's dropping here, incidence is dropping.
Yeah, but they're less scared to catch it.
It won't
but-
go down because it's existing.
but
It
prevalence
doesn't go
is-
away.
It's a chronic disease, that's what I'm going at. Yeah,
Oh.
AIDS infection is incurable right now. So you can get down to a zero viral detectable load, but you still have what? Ask Charlie Sheen.
Oh. Tiger blood.
Charlie Sheen went down to zero detectable load, and he went down to do what? Oh, remember what old
I
Charlie
didn't
did?
know this.
You didn't know Charlie, old Chuck? Oh, you gotta love Chuck, he's worth a lot of good life. So he was on the high active antiretroviral therapy, and he was at zero detectable virus. And then he heard about some treatment down in Mexico some guy come up with, they would cure it. So he went down there and he went off his antiviral therapy, and what happened to his viral load?
Shot up.
Boom. So it just shows you're not cured with that, with stuff here. They cannot cure it yet. They can just keep it now. And they finally come out now and said, if anybody's interested, that zero detectable level equals zero possibility of transmission.
Oh.
That's always been a question, you know, if you can, if it's undetectable, can you still pass it on to somebody else? They finally come out and said, apparently, statistically not. So this just keeps going up, because even though you have a lower incidence every year, you still keep adding to what?
The
The
cases.
number of people who have it. And then here, bam, I'm not sure, my guess here, and this one I have an issue with AIDS, right? I think this probably should be HIV. I do go back and look in the book. My thing here is what would have happened here to the incidence rate? Why do you see this huge jump? Or this is why I think it is. Why do you think somewhere right around here you might have seen a huge jump in prevalence?
I think it's like what I was saying, how people are not as afraid because our medicine got better, so they're like, eh.
That would be incidence though, because that would still start going up. And that's actually, if you look at HIV infection, here it is. It's starting to go up rapidly. All the STDs are.
Oh,
HIV
because it's
in general.
new. Oh.
But why did prevalence skyrocket?
Maybe
here?
because the test
Because
got
it's
better?
developing into.
No, my guess is this is when they started people really started getting widespread testing.
Yeah,
So they already had it,
and we didn't know about
they
it.
just didn't know they had it.
Yeah.
That would be my guess, would be why you have this huge spike here. I mean, you're talking 1,000 up to what?
100?
I mean,
Wow.
that's huge, that's a 100-fold increase over time, so. All right. I want you all to tell me what you think is like. Go back to interpretive breath. This is incidence. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a little hint. My guess is, if you stretch this way down here to 1960, this
Oh,
would get,
it's an STD.
this would have kept sloping down a little bit.
Downward.
Yeah. It would have a downward trend. I don't know how much.
So it exists here.
So this is the
So it
incidence.
doesn't go away, it's chronic.
So this is the incidence, yep.
Are you asking us what disease it is? Or
Yeah,
are you
we're
asking
looking
us?
at it based on this, so this type of thing, what I do, so this year incidence, it's the number of new cases that are being diagnosed per year,
But you can't get rid of it because it keeps
per
increasing.
100,000 people probably, how they do this, right? Per 1,000, per 100,000, right?
Like
You know what?
So it'd be
Huh?
diabetes.
Herpes?
Yeah,
Hepatitis.
yeah, herpes, diabetes. Anybody else want to throw in the ring?
TV?
TB?
Oh.
Well, you said from the 1960s, it'd be like no
No,
incidents.
it's so many places. It wouldn't be like that.
Well, it sure wouldn't be STDs because the 70s, these suckers went way up.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be STD. Diabetes, good.
Oh, good job.
Diabetes incidence and prevalence, current rate per 1,000 people, per 1,000 adults 18 and over. All right. Is the following statement true or false? Epidemiologist, tell you that this semester started off. Epidemiologists use a number of different factors to describe the steps of the disease.
False.
False.
So,
False.
The steps, yeah, because they do it by
populations.
Number of different factors
use
to describe the steps of a disease.
Yeah, I think they do it by,
I think they like the factors. They don't use like different number of factors, but they use like factors.
But do they use more than one, or do they use just one, or
which is the test.
false? Rational epidemiology is the study of factors affecting the health and illness of population.
So the key word there is populations, correct?
There's a number of different factors to describe the steps of the disease. They're not looking, epidemiologists aren't looking at the disease itself, they're looking at what?
Factors.
How it affects
Populations, not the disease, but how it
They're
affects
not,
the people.
these aren't clinicians looking at, or even researchers, how do I treat this, they're looking at how the disease progresses in population. Kind of tricky. That's kind of tricky. All right. Epidemiologists are derived by using, factors, epidemiologists, do you know what I mean? Factors derived by using epidemiologic methods, how disease is spread. How is it going from person to person to person? Or is it going from person to person to person? Is it an insect vector? Is it fecal oral? Is it, which usually is going to be waterborne, right? How is it spread? Why would that be important?
This is how common, like if it's
How-
very common, something you do every day, like is it spread by contact?
Could be spread like the flu or something like that, right?
It can be
Come up with
controlled.
Prevention too.
Well, prevention could be prevention. Uh-oh.
Oh.
How to control the disease, which is gonna be what? If you know how it's what? being
Spread.
Spread, you can start trying to control the disease at least from in terms of infection.
Oh, so they all lead to each other.
Well, not that, they all lead to like one thing, that's kind of what I think that's the thing I put at the end. How to prevent the disease,
Vaccination.
vaccination, abstinence, things like that. These are gonna kind of come together a little bit. And then how to eliminate the disease. From an epidemiological standpoint, what is the first and probably the key to this?
What is the what?
What is the first, to me?
You have to know how it's spread first, right?
Which goes first in this whole thing. So think of something new. That's what I'm talking about. You can't think about something new. I'm thinking about something of a new disease in
How
this
it's
case.
spread.
Yeah,
How it's
Because
spread.
then you can figure out like how to maintain or control it.
Once you know how it's spread and what's causing it, you can implement all of these, right? If you don't know how it's spreading, the best example of this that I know of is the HIV epidemic. They did not know what was causing it for several years. If you don't know what's causing it, you don't know how it's spread, how can you what? How can you treat or control it, spread? How can you prevent the spread? How can you eliminate it? You can't. All right. Risk factors, it's gonna be a lot like stressors a little bit. Anything that increases the risk of a disease. Okay? There we go. Clean that thing out. And source of risk factors could be genetics, lifestyle factors, and social determinants of health. This is still basically epidemiologically, right? That's what we're looking at for this epidemiology. So somebody give me some examples of genetic risk factors.
Like hypertension or diabetes.
But more actually, but give me an example of a
Like,
risk.
Like what kind of gene therapy?
Yeah,
Okay, so like we don't methylate B12 good.
Uh-huh.
My mom didn't, and now I don't either, so we have to take supplements to prevent like toxicity with methylation or whatever.
methylation of
The genes for breast cancer, the I forgot
what about sickle cell anemia?
There's that one, I can't think of that one.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Huh?
Sickle cell anemia?
Sickle cell anemia, risk factor. Now, yeah, that would be a genetic. So if your parents, well, the problem with that one is if you're homozygous for that, you're pretty much gonna get it. So that was a little bit different. Yeah, it would be a risk factor, but that was a bad.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more like what you're talking about. How about BRCA1 and BRCA2?
Yeah.
Breast cancer resistance associated
Celiac gene, there's the celiac disease, there's a certain gene.
gene for that. So any of these genetic factors that may predispose you, that's the term they like to use, to a disease would be a risk factor. Certain genes for hypertension. Okay?
What about Alzheimer's?
Which one?
Alzheimer's?
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, yeah, they think there's at least, in some people, there's actually, I'm gonna take a segue on that, since you brought it up for a second. People who tend to get it early, they definitely think that there's a genetic risk factor for early onset Alzheimer's. which is weird, because the older, the regular Alzheimer's, the one that comes on usually later, they're still not 100%, if some people have it, some people don't. One reason for that is they've tied sleep deprivation to it, they've tied hypertension to Alzheimer's and dementia. But did y'all see the new article just came out about it?
About the protein buildup or something?
Yeah, about the tau plaques, the beta-amyloid plaques or tau protein. Anybody see it? I shouldn't tell you, I should make you look. This has been found in several different labs, and I want to read the main article on it. They found an oral bacteria associated with the plaques in the brains of almost all the people they looked at. So, and they're in a stage 1 trial for a drug that blocks the toxin produced by that particular bacteria. And it seems to have worked in mice.
Wow.
Now again, just because it works in mice, that means it's going to work in humans?
No.
I don't want to tell you any drugs that work in mice that don't work in humans. In fact, I've worked on a couple of them. So there's some new hope to it. But then there's all these other risk factors. That's why Alzheimer's has been so troublesome. And if there's a genetic one, is that going to be the same? I mean, is it cause and effect? You see what I mean? If it's early onset genetic, is it going to have anything to do with the bacteria? Probably not. So I don't know. Problem with Alzheimer's is every 3 months they come up with a new cause for it. Nothing seems to work. So those are genetic. What's another big one?
Lifestyle.
I have two. Thanks, Mom.
For genetics?
Yeah. Not only predisposed me to it, I got it. And hypertension, not one.
Diabetes?
Familiar hyperlipidemia, hyperlipidemia, which is a fancy name for
Or like cholesterol?
high cholesterol. That's another risk factor. Lifestyles. Where do we start on that one?
Drinking, smoking.
Drinking, smoking,
Eating.
sedentary lifestyle, not enough sleep, too much stress, promiscuity, skiing without a helmet. I mean, you can just throw 9,000 things in a lake. Social determinants of health, what are those going to be?
Would that be like
Access.
environment?
Access to
It's
healthcare?
gonna be, yeah, more, that's gonna pretty much boil down to access to medical care and preventive care, things like that. And education, preventive education too, right? I mean, if you didn't know, back in the 80s, if you didn't go somewhere where or 90s, it told you how AIDS was spread, what would your chance of you catching HIV be?
Hi.
They would go right back up. Education, everything's gonna boil into that. Okay, now we're gonna look at risk factors. Modifiable means what?
Changeable.
Something that you can change. One that can be changed and controlled by the individual. Diet. All those lifestyle ones we talked about for the most part, right? Diet, tobacco use, drinking, promiscuity. What else? What are some of those in there? Stress. I mean, how you deal with stress on your own, right? Safety, God, that's the insurance company.
Well,
They probably
hygiene.
have a list as long as your leg, so you modifiable stuff. And yeah, I'm just gonna have to quit this mention. Non-modifiable cannot be changed by the person, genetics, race, age, gender, things like that. And they're starting to what? Genetics we know about, age for sure we've known about for years, right? As you get older, what happens to your T cell?
They diminish.
You get less and less of them, right? So you get more predisposed to that.
Aren't they starting to mess with genetics? So
Well, this is gender, are there gender things, gender differences?
yeah.
Sure, they've seen those for a while. In fact, the bad part with pharmaceuticals is until very recently, what was the main test group for pharmaceuticals?
White males?
White males. So they're like, well, they don't work. It turns out there are differences in males and females, and they're also finding more and more what?
A race.
Yeah, differences here too. Different ways that people metabolize stuff, maybe more at a higher risk for particular different
Reactions.
conditions. African Americans tend to be at a higher incidence of what?
Hypertension?
Hypertension. They have a couple different genes in them. They have much higher risk of hypertension.
So genetics we're leaving in non-modifiable?
Yeah, you can't, at least right now, but genetics will do, but I'm talking about genetics in terms of race too, different things like that. Yeah, you can't, well,
That's what I'm saying.
never say never, with that
Yeah.
CRISPR stuff coming around, you might be able to start changing some of this eventually. But right now, we leave it non-modified. All right. Morbidity is what?
How bad it is.
How sick it's gonna make people. Describe the effects of an illness or injury has on a person's life. Concerned with incidence, persistence, long-term consequences. Certain, well, let me get from the other one, and we'll talk about morbidity, the two differences. And mortality is just what?
Death.
Change the cause and number of deaths in a given population by a particular condition. Some illnesses have very high morbidity, which means you're gonna be what?
Sick.
Really sick.
You're gonna be ill, but they have low what?
Mortality.
Mortality. Now, could you have high mortality and low morbidity?
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
What?
I think if you had something that killed you real fast.
Oh, that's right.
Like a car accidents, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's, it could be an accidental trouble. I was thinking more of a condition, but, I mean, heart attacks, acute heart attacks,
Yeah, they might not, they're really sick.
are the effects of illness and injury. I mean, it'd be rare, but never say never, that's what I'm saying. All right, I just threw this in here too. Remember last semester we talked about this international stuff? So I'll go through it. This is in the U.S. Leading cause of death in the United States, 2015. Heart disease, cancer, chronic lower respiratory disease. What would this include?
Bronchitis?
Yeah.
COPD, bronchitis.
TB.
Cystic fibrosis.
Huh?
No.
TB? Yeah, cystic
Yeah.
fibrosis,
Yeah.
yeah.
Could put TB in there, but very few people in the U.S. die from TB much anymore. Accidents, unintentional injuries, stroke, Alzheimer's is way up here. They say this is, hopefully, it's supposed to start doing this. Hopefully now it'll start doing this. Diabetes, what about diabetes?
The complications from it. That'll kill you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
Dialysis?
gonna be complications from this. This is probably gonna be, well, there's several. Heart
There's a
disease is the
lot.
main one, kidney disease, another one.
Lymphedema.
But are the incidents, cause of death, these gonna go up or down?
Um,
Hopefully they'll go down, because this is death from diabetes, not diabetes itself.
Mhm.
Hopefully they can start controlling some of the things that cause it. Influenza, pneumonia, nephritis, nephritic syndrome, and nephrosis, this is all what? It's a
Death of
fancy name
tissue?
for kidney disease, right?
Oh,
And can you believe that? Of all things in this place, self-inflicted is still way up there. I didn't realize it was that high. We need to work on that. All right, how's this gonna change in the next 20 years?
it's gonna go up.
Heart disease is going up.
Heart disease going up? How would you rank these maybe in 20 years?
Heart disease. Cancer hopefully now.
I'm hoping everything goes down, but more than likely everything's going up.
Well, not whether going up, I'm talking about order.
Oh, order. Oh.
Accident, stroke.
I think intentional harm is gonna go up
Well, maybe this will go way down.
because of the new stuff
Maybe.
coming out.
It should, they're finding a lot of things, hopefully that'll go down. Diabetes, I'm hoping will go
Yeah.
down. This, they may be getting really close to coming up with what's called a pan vaccine, which means you only have to take it once. You don't take it every year, so that would drop it down. This one, this is so dependent on so many other things.
Yeah, there's no way.
In fact, it might even go up a little, my guess. Hopefully this goes down. Strokes, might go up, although this one's kind of a wild card, right?
Yeah.
Those going up though, because population's increasing.
We have like self
True.
cars.
So the more cars on the road, the more accidents.
But they're self-driving. They're
I
getting
know,
self-driving.
self-driving.
This, hopefully, I'm hoping will go down, because this is still a consequence of high levels of what? Mainly what? 'Cause
Smoking?
These are chronic disease, chronic lower respiratory, we're talking about COPD, chronic bronchitis, emphysema. What were most of those caused by?
Smoking?
Smoking. Now people are smoking as much, Hopefully, next few years, this will start to drop, and that would be my guess.
Cancer's going down. They're getting really good about like a lot of
right
them.
here,
Oh,
these two, let's
Never
talk
mind.
about
Just
stage
kidding.
1 and 2. Think they'll stay the same?
I think they're going down. They're getting
worse.
there's a lot more research being done and things are coming out. Like CRISPR.
They're saying in a few years that cancer is gonna overtake heart disease as the major cause of death in the US.
Why?
Because they're getting much better at treating this. They're getting better at treating this too, but they're getting really better at heart, numbers of heart disease are starting to drop, deaths from it. Cancers are still there, a lot of them are going down and stuff, but the last I saw, cancer is supposed to become the number one cause. But they're getting better at treating everything else.
I always thought like for cancer like more research is getting done and
There is, you see, but research dollars from NIH and stuff tend to follow patterns. So cancer was the big one for a long time, and then what came along? Since the 80s and
The
90s?
diabetes.
AIDS.
HIV. Man,
AIDS.
back in the, if you wanted to get funded for AIDS, you just had to send a letter saying, hey, I want some money for AIDS research, and they pretty much gave it to you. The big one now is diabetes, actually. Ton of research money going towards diabetes. Cancer research actually gone down some. Funny. All right, so natural history of disease is used as a predictor of outcome of a disease for which there is no effective treatment. And I added this right here, if you all printing out stuff. Because it's not, I don't like this no effective treatment because it's just with no treatment. How is that disease going to progress naturally over time, right? Now, if you can't treat it, that you're gonna see that, right? But, I mean, even if, let's say you weren't treating it, you would still see its natural what? Progression over time, right? And it's gonna be to what? Its eventual end, recovery or death. Or what could be another one in there? Could become chronic, right? So, information about the natural history of disease and the potential of effective treatment methods provide directions for preventive measures. Again, this all goes back, remember, this is all still epidemiology, right? How does the disease progress? Once you know how it progresses, you can start looking at what? Treatment modalities and what? Preventive measures. What do you think of a new one that we could talk about here? Problem with diabetes is there's so many confounding factors of diabetes too. All right, we'll go with it. Okay, levels of prevention. Primary prevention is what?
removing risk factors.
Immunization, public awareness, anything that's gonna remove risk factors so the disease does not occur. Primary prevention is to stop it before it
Starts.
starts or before you catch it. Secondary prevention is what? Finding it. Okay?
Finding or fighting?
Finding it. So pap smears, blood pressure, lab tests, detecting the disease while it is still curable. Cancer, this is what? Almost all cancers are 100% curable if you what?
Catch it on time.
If you find it in time. Even pancreatic cancer can be curable. Look at Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She had pancreatic cancer they caught on a CT scan when it was really small.
Wow.
She's a tough lady.
Yeah.
What did she just have last, what's the last thing she just had?
Did you have cancer or something?
Well, I already
What
found
else?
out something else. What was it, you remember?
Pneumonia?
Was it pneumonia? I don't remember. Something else that killed a lot of people, but not her. All right, so this is detecting it. For diabetes, could you have secondary prevention for diabetes?
Yeah.
Sure, that's the whole key of that, right? A lot of times your preventive measures are what? Quit eating
Junk.
900 cupcakes a day, don't get any exercise like me, and then all these things. That's primary. Secondary would be what?
Is it when you're taking insulin and
First
stuff?
is gonna be what?
Like,
Detecting it
yeah.
early while it's still
Like high
curable.
blood
Yeah.
pressure, like sugar.
Oh,
Yes.
before it
But
progresses.
you
it's
gotta be careful, because now you gotta look at, diabetes falls in a couple things. Now you're looking at tertiary prevention, antibiotic use, glucose control. So glucose control diabetes would be an example of what? Tertiary. Secondary for diabetes would be actually doing what, actually?
Like screening for it?
Screening for it, detecting it, going down and detecting it. You can't do this if you didn't what?
No, you had it.
If you don't know you have it.
Yeah, it was, she had 2 cancerous nodules.
Huh?
Sorry, off topic, but she had 2 cancerous nodules in her left lung.
Oh, her lung, that's right, yeah, her left lung.
And 3 fractured ribs.
What the?
I don't know what that lady had. All right, see, I'll get these because I'll throw some examples here and we'll go through this. So, primary is what? No disease. Prevention, remove risk factors. Don't smoke. Don't drink. Well, don't drink a lot. Don't drink an excess. Onset, now you know what? This failed, right?
Mhm.
Onset would be what?
Like when they tell you you're pre-diabetic and
Asymptomatic early detection and you start treatment, right? Start blood control pressure. Stop dropping, what else would it be for diabetes? What's-
That's not true, because there is to treat it, so it wouldn't be the insulin, but.
Treat you? Well, the problem with diabetes is a lot of these are gonna start here and then continue on through here. Because if it's a treatable one, early detection and treatment, are you ever gonna get to a tertiary step necessarily? You know, asymptomatic, well, clinical course, these are gonna kind of
mingle.
cross over. We'll leave these separate. So this is no asymptomatic, non-clinical.
Dialysis would not, would that
Yeah,
still be
it's-
considered diabetes, or?
Yeah, well, that's one kidney failure caused by
Because
that.
of-
The tertiary would be to reduce complications. So the thing I like the early detection, so ideally, if you can detect diabetes here and start treatment here, you would carry that over into here, right? Prevent complications by continuing treatment, right? What are the complications of diabetes?
the
Blindness?
glaucoma, eyes,
What are some of? What are the two
When you're
things?
tissue death,
vision loss,
Vision loss, that's even, but that's usually caused by one of the other ones, actually.
they have to take off the blood flow.
So what are the two major big things that cause issues with diabetes? Not just, neuropathy is the sugar, but what are the other two? Hypertension is a huge one, right? And then hypertension is gonna lead to what?
blood pressure,
Cardiovascular disease and kidney failure, so that's the big one right there. So later on, you wanna start doing what?
controlling it.
Start treatment for here, but you also may wanna do, once you get clinical course, you're gonna keep glucose control, but you're probably gonna wanna start treating for hypertension as well.
Oh, I see what you're saying, like the secondary stuff.
Yeah. But you probably start here if they're hypertensive, but this is gonna be more long term. Right, Stacy, this is what, again, trying to stop it before it becomes clinical, and this is just trying to what at this point, if it's a chronic disease.
Treated from treating worse.
Manage it, keeping it from getting worse. Oh, I had another. Oh, that's the thing. So this is the new thing for the new modality, I guess a lot of physicians are practicing now. It's called evidence-based practice and guidelines. Evidence-based medicine. In fact, my physician, that's what he has in his thing. Evidence-based medicine, I'm saying. And what does it mean? Conscious and explicit and judicious use of current best evidence in making decisions about care of individual patients. Shouldn't doctors be doing that?
Yeah,
Anyway? So what's the difference? Why has this become such a buzzword in medicine?
because of all the new holistic treatment.
Well,
Well,
you were
what
saying
about-
that it was a lot of diagnosing by symptoms before, right?
It was a lot of diagnosing by symptoms.
So now evidence-based would not just be like testing.
To be testing, but the difference is in the past, and a lot of it does have to do with advances in testing and publication and everything, availability of information. In the 50s, how available was current information to physicians?
Not very.
Not very much, so you practice medicine based on what?
What your
What
knowledge.
you learn and who you learn from and things like that over time. And then you went to meetings and stuff like that. But the new idea now is what? Conscious, explicit, and judicious use of current best
And
evidence.
there's a lot more like exchange and information like at A4M and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing, this is, a lot of this is technology based. Better testing, better information, that's the key. I mean,
Internet.
Internet, I mean, just.
Well, even how they have to, you have to keep updating, like when you get your license and stuff, you have to continuously
refresh it.
Oh, yeah,
education.
CE, yeah, they've done CE for a long time.
CEs, no?
But now, on top of that, you've also got what? And the idea is here, and is that these physicians, if they're doing this, not only going for their CE credits, they should be doing what, if they're doing this? And supposedly mine does, that's what he told me. He spends a lot of time reading the newest stuff, what is new out there, what is new out there before I have to wait and get my stuff. And he brought him a journal article, and clinical practice guidelines on algorithms, written directives, combination of them. So right here is this new one right here from 1996. The conscious, explicit, and judicious use of current best evidence in making decisions about the care of an individual patient. It means integrating individual clinical expertise, which is what they used to use all the time, right? But adding that to what? With the best available external clinical evidence from systematic research. So this idea is here, you're not just going with what you know, what you were taught, but you're actually going out pursuing what? The latest information on there. The thing is it can change fast. Yeah. What happened if you weren't, okay, here's a good example. If you missed this, you probably should lose your license for when we get an extreme case. What is one of the potential side effects from treating hepatitis C with the new drugs that they didn't know about? This blindside, I think, some people, more than them.
The one that's carrying it,
Mm-hmm.
the hormone?
Hep C. They've got drugs out there, if you got one of the right strains, it's, I mean, they pretty much are saying 99% cure rates, which is really 100, they just never say 100, right? I mean, it's really been effective. Side effects originally were kind of bad, but what would be something that you would hope a physician was keeping an eye on? Just come up, not too recently, but relatively recently. Basically a potential side effect. No, what's the ads on TV?
I know.
Yeah, but they say like crazy stuff like chronic diarrhea.
No. Turns out now that, and they didn't, and I can't foresee how they would have seen us coming either. If you have hepatitis B co-infection with hep C, when they treat the hep C and the hep C starts to go away, it can cause a massive flare up of the hepatitis B
Wow.
virus. And so this is something that you have to keep up with, right? Something you need to watch your patients for, otherwise
Which ones are the heps that have to go together?
that's B and D.
So do they already have D if B goes up?
I don't know. I have to look at that and see. You don't have to have both. It's worse if you have both. But you can only have D if you have B.
Okay, that's right. That's what it was. It wasn't B. Like you can only have B if you have D. It's D.
Only D if you have B. All right. So cross-sectional study, guys, uses simultaneous collection of information to classify exposure, outcomes, to status. Smoking, we're looking at all of you right now who are doing what? Smoking and their what? Their risk of cardiovascular disease based on. This is real time. Case control studies, this is a little bit harder. Compares case subjects to control subjects. And this is where, because now you're looking almost backwards to me. You're looking at an effect and going back and looking for the cause, basically. So babies born with fetal alcohol syndrome